If someone comes in with cancer, which is not uncommon, what peptides would you recommend them?
No, officially don't treat cancer per se.
It's a touchy subject for doctors.
It is, but even just the fact that it wasn't something I spent all my time on, right? And I don't want to miss something. But we don't refer out anything about cancer. I think I referred one person just to get like some sort of heart scan or something like that, but it's crazy. But with the cancer, and there's some very good cancer doctors, but we had a problem. We were sending them out and they're getting like high dose vitamin C or something. And I'm like, okay, I'd be scared of missing something. I wanted to get one thing from these, cancer doctors. So we're starting to do it because, the one thing, if you look at, for instance, this is like one of the most documented with, let's say, colon cancer, right? They get radiation that, you're cured, okay? Or, long remission. What does that mean? 5 years. If you follow those people, 6 years, 7 years, it's all over the place. Mm. And what's the biggest determinant of that, and they don't test it, they don't seem to care about it, is the level of the natural killer cell. Hmm. So natural killer cell function, not the number. So that's again, natural killer cell function. Natural killer cells, the ones that monitor the body for infections, for cancer. And so what they do with give chemo, it knocks out their immune system. Now there's nothing it's not searching, destroying the cancer. And it just explodes. And I know two people that I was pretty close to. And this is what I told them, but my doctor says, I'm like, and it totally happened almost to the day. I'm like, God, I prayed I was going to be wrong. But it's barbaric and they just don't care. We see that. Like, why don't you think about why, all you have to do is give some $30 a month and could have prevented it. But again, it's all about the immune system. And that's why, people have all these reactivating, that's why we have, chronic Lyme, all these, chronic infections, because the immune system it's too low. And then you get reactivating infections. Now they pile on. So that's when it's very difficult to come back from that. Or like SEERS, chronic common response syndrome. And so you have generally a compromised immune system. Then you're exposed to mold toxins. The other people are generally fine, but now you can't tolerate it. The immune system is just trashed. Now, the standard protocol from Shoemaker, who I love, he's done so much for that immunity and set the protocols. But the whole thing was to take binders and get rid of the toxins so you could boost the immune system. Well, we have a way to boost the immune system now, and now you can detoxify better. And and I wrote an ebook on it, the peptide protocol for the rapid treatment of SEERS. And you get it, I think, on our site, or I don't know. Because the people were on this stuff, and I'm like, how long have you been doing this? Like 8 years, but I know I'm going to get better. I'm like, oh my God, I'm too ADD. I can't wait 8 years. And they just get better in, several months. So, basically put that together. And they just, this kind of backward, or it's just, instead of just looking at it a little different. I'm not saying anything is wrong with it, except BIP, basal intestinal peptide. It makes them worse. They feel better, but it actually makes them worse and they can't get better. I will butt heads with them that. But people say, like, you don't like Shoemaker. Absolutely not. It's amazing. We could not have come up with the stuff we did unless he was there first and just spent so much time and passion to figure this stuff out. That's probably way harder than Lyme, right? So, but it's these chronic multi-system illnesses that, we are so horrible at treating in America, really kind of all over the world. But now everything's multi-system. We got toxins in the food, pesticides. Pesticides are what basically part of this is going crazy. And, we look at the treatments that have been done for some things that have been going around. Like, we'll check everyone's natural killer cell after, the jab. Natural killer cell function drops each one. And their immune activation and coagulation goes up. All their cells are clumping. Their immune system shot, and they often get reactivation of Lyme, viruses, and people. So many people, like most people, get Lyme, don't have a symptom, right? And we know this billionaire had a place in Africa where he went on safari, and did that, and he went and he got mefloquine for mosquitoes and that stuff. And just it's a pretty toxic line of med, and he just all of a sudden just couldn't deal with this, wiped him out. Now it gave him Lyme, because he had all this stuff and it reactivated. And it's not my patient, actually, it's a doctor friend of mine up north. And he's like, oh my God, why did this happen? And that's what you see, or we'll find oftentimes people get Lyme after a emotional trauma. Like emotion is so basically, it's so a profound suppression of the immune system, but doesn't suppress the immune system. It modulates it. So it lowers that Th1, raises that Th2. So you get that inflammation, but you can't fight your cellular infections. Where like stress from like work, but if you have like a kid that's ill or a fight with a spouse, or like I had my narcissistic brother, oh my God, the phone would ring and I would just be bedbound, you can't tolerate any stress, and it's just anything emotional is the worst.
Okay. So would you say that for Lyme patients, and there's much higher prevalence of cancer, so elevated cancer risk?
You know what? It's interesting that it's a very good question, because I've been looking for it. But the problem is you won't get the answer because the Infectious Society of America says chronic Lyme doesn't exist. So how can you do a study that shows that chronic Lyme is associated with cancer when it's something that doesn't exist?
Wow.
And that shows you right there. People are supposed to be treating it, and it's just like, okay, here's this study, la, 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 la.